The two biggest things that have led for me to be great at what I do is I'm relentless, man. I work and I will work and I will outwork myself. You're not going to stop me. If I
Mm.
say I'm going to be somewhere sometime to do something, I do that. The first job I ever had where I actually physically worked hard, like I had I got a degree in finance. I became a manager right out of that. So I was delegating everything and then got into sales and did sales for about 10 years or so. And when I started this, I had initially started with a business partner and I was supposed to be back end, finance, marketing,
Wow.
and it just didn't work out. I ended up buying him out a couple of years later, and I just like it. I give people a window, but I would say 80% of the time I'm at the appointment within the first 15 minutes, and people normally are like ready to shit themselves. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I'm just like, all I did was get here. I didn't even do anything yet. So I'm very much so myself. Like I do almost all of my like marketing via social media, and I am myself. I'm kind of a lunatic sometimes. I'm very passionate about what I do, but I'm also into the grime and the filth and the grosser the better. That doesn't scare me. The nicer the better. That's cool too. Two of my biggest like favorite shows growing up that I watched with my parents all the time was Antiques Roadshow and then American Pickers.
Mm.
And both of those shows really coincide with like a lot of the estate cleanouts that I do, a lot of even the hoarder jobs. Like you would look at some videos of some places that I've been in and be like, well, you might as well just burn it. There's not one good thing. And then like it's like an onion, man. You peel back that 3 to 6 inches that was cat piss soaked, and there might be some real gems underneath there. So
Mm. So let me get a. I'm gonna go back a bit, ask a few more questions prior to this, and then I want to dive into gems. So that's kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
so you went to college, got a finance degree, that kind of aspect. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, so I've always been really good at math. Like I first time I took the SATs with no prep, I did got over 700 in my math. Like math has always been like numbers are like I'm like a numbers weirdo. But I got out of school and I like unfortunately I got my degree in finance in 2008. And if anyone knows anything about 2008, 2009, there was a huge financial crisis. So I was going to become a personal financial planner. That's what I wanted to do. And my perception, perspective, reality when I graduated was like, if I had a lot of money and I needed to invest money, am I going to ask some kid who just graduated from school right now during a collapse, or am I going to find someone who actually knows what they're doing? So I like kind of talked myself out of it. And ironically, like during college, I had worked at Applebee's part time as a server. One of the guests at the bar happened to work for Giant Foods, and like they offered me a management position. I literally graduated, and the day after I graduated, like that Monday, 2 days later, I started a salary position with them for a while. And looking back on it, it was a great opportunity, but I hated that job.
Mm.
With a passion, and it's because I'm just so ADHD, man. I'm like I'm everywhere.
So of all the businesses you can get into, why this? Was it because of the loving?
No, so I got into this because we moved to Florida, my wife and I.
Okay.
And when we were living in Florida, I needed a job. And ironically, I found a job with College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving at their corporate headquarters. They're based in Tampa. And yeah, I worked in the corporate office. It was a really cool, really nice environment. The atmosphere was great. Honestly, like I didn't know anything about the job, but I knew everything about pricing structure. I knew how to, you know, philosophically, I knew how it worked, right? And
Mm.
um, my wife ended up getting, we got pregnant. She got pregnant, whatever you want to say it. I don't want to blame her, you know. So, so we decided to move back to family, which was Pennsylvania. And I mean, I was blessed that Nick and Omar had a second company called Trash Butler, which was a doorstep valet trash service. Anyway, because of my sales experience, they had like given me a job with that company and allowed me to like transition up to PA, even though they knew I probably wasn't going to stay around because that service isn't really even viable in the Northeast. It's much more of a South. That's a story for another day. But
Right.
um, they got me up here, and then when we moved up here, I had gotten another job, and it was not a job I wanted, but it was very remote. I was very off the radar of my bosses, and I had kind of pitched my wife on the idea, and yeah, that's how Grade A Holloway just kind of happened.
So if I summarize, there's something about the numbers behind margins and et cetera behind the industry that you got a quick peek at it in with college junk, right? College hunks.
Oh my God! So the year I was there, I think they did like 127 million dollars in junk removal and moving. They
Wow.
do a 200 now or 250 a year, I think. I think that's where they're at
Wow.
now.
So you
That
had
was, you
you
know,
had good insight of how big it could be. Wow.
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I never really, I have no aspirations of doing that with what I'm doing. I really enjoy like the local stuff, and I keep everything real small. I keep my marketing budget real small. You know what I mean? Low overhead. I try and stick to the whole revenue is vanity thing. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's just a number. So
Gotcha. I like it. Revenue is vanity. If it's big enough to feed you and your family, that's what you need. That's
yeah,
what you.
yeah, yeah. Profit is sanity, and then cash is king. I think is what the
So
whole thing is.
do you have zero employees, or how, are you doing
So
this?
I have one guy who I use a lot to sub out stuff to, and then I have two other guys who I use occasionally, and then another local guy who owns a junk removal business who has a few guys. I occasionally use him when it gets like absolutely insane.
Okay. So you talked about, your antique pickers and the shows that you watched, and tell me about some of the finds that you have here that you're most proud of when you're removing somebody's junk and how did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I can give you a tour of this
Sure.
whole the whole pool hall is pretty much
That's your pool
it's
table that
almost
you
all stuff that I got to. What's that?
that's your pool table and that was part of a job?
Yeah. Well, so technically that was delivered by a customer who I've done a lot of jobs for, but I didn't pay for it. So,
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
um, I found a 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle card one time in a job. That was really cool. I still have that card. That was a barn clean out that we did. It was 5,000 square feet, hoarder barn to the gills.
Hmm.
It took 3.5 days. I ended up having that other guy with a business. We had 7 guys there for 3.5 days to get that thing cleaned out. That was a cool one. I mean, I've gotten like snow blowers that were brand new with heated grips. I got this John Deere riding mower one time that we put a battery in. It only had 55 hours on it, so it was like pretty much cherry. Um, Found a bunch of gold, a bunch of gold jewelry, gold earrings, rings, necklaces, lots of silver.
And
I
you're
mean,
able to
tons
sell
of
that.
coins. I got this register one time out of a basement, and what was really cool was a customer for that one. It was their house, so they had not been in the basement for like 30 or 40 years.
Wow.
And I went down to do the estimate, and I saw the thing. And I love old registers, but I was like, you know what I mean? They said they hadn't been down there. I'm not like that, so I carry this thing upstairs with me while I'm doing the estimate. I said, might be shooting myself in the foot, but that's all right. Like I found this down there. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, that was my aunt's register from her store." And blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh, it is super cool." You know what I mean? And she ended up calling her mom because it was technically her mom's house. And she hangs up the phone. She goes, "My mom said you can have it." And I'm like, "No way." So I
Wow.
took it home. It took me a while to get it open. Now the register had been like water damaged and stuff beyond repair. So I just ended up kind of shoehorning the thing open. But I mean, I found coins from like the late 1800s, early 1900s, tons of quarters and half dollars. It was cool. That was a really cool one. Um,
Wow. Wow. So part of the deal is that you remove it. Part of give me an idea of the service from soup to nuts here. So you're doing an estimate first, I'm assuming?
yeah, so it depends on how big the job is. Typically, I say like if it's going to be more than a load, then we typically do the estimate on a different day than we do the job.
Okay.
Um, Otherwise, we can come, we bring it, we give you an estimate, it's no obligation, and if you're into it, we take it. If not, we part as friends, no big deal. Um, but for bigger jobs, I would say that I do an estimate ahead of time. Uh, One of the things that I do have is a lot of repeat like investors, real estate agents and stuff who just know that I don't care if it's the same day. I don't care if it's like scheduled out. Like my pricing is the same all the time, especially for like investors and real estate agents. And because I want you to trust me, I want you to put me in your Rolodex. Like I don't care if you save me as junk guy, Adam, you know, annoying pile of shit, whatever you want me to put it in there. I'm in, right? So as know that you send me something you want gone, it'll be gone, and you're going to get billed a fair amount. So I probably have at least a dozen, if not 15 investors who I get texts from, and it's like address, lockbox code, and then all loose items, leave the appliances. And that's all it says. And then I show up, I take care of it, I send them an invoice, and that's it. So,
You send them an
but
invoice. You don't require certain clients, you don't necessarily require payment on hand, right?
yeah, so for like real estate agents and stuff like that, I totally get how it works. If it's a small little pickup, like a lot of real estate people, like I mean, I can even take Venmo, Cash App, Zelle,
Okay.
PayPal. I don't care. Um,
Have you gotten burnt with that before, just from business owner to business owner?
so I this is a good story actually. So I had one guy, business owner to business owner, burn me for like $500, $450. I don't know. And like I had done 2 dozen jobs for this guy and I didn't even know his name, not his full name. You know what I mean? So like I'm like, all right, well, what am I gonna do here? I'm like, let's think about the network. So I message another investor in that area, talking to him, describing the guy, and he's like, we're talking back and forth. He's like, I think I know who you're talking about. So then he sends me a picture of the guy, and then he goes, oh shit, and I'm like, what? He goes, I got some bad news, and he sends me a link to an article through the like Hummel's Town Sun or something. And no shit, the article's like he owes a
Oh,
dozen people like $100,000 or whatever it says. And so I'm like, all right, and this is where the lunatic comes out. And I apologize. I'm really nice normally, but I went on a reels assault, right? I mean, and when I'm like full lunatic, you know what I mean? It's juices are flowing, words are vibing, things are happening. So I said a lot of things in about 55 or 65 seconds. And the reel wasn't even up for an hour. And the guy finally calls me. He had been ghosting me for like 5 days in a row. I called him like 38 times by that point. Um, so he calls me and he's like, yo, man, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, we're talking for a second. He's like, a dozen people have messaged me or called me. He's like, my own mom just got a message from someone saying they saw the thing about me. Could you take it down? And I'm like, are you going to pay me?
huh.
So then, ching. So then I took it down and it was like, holy hell, my Facebook is more powerful than the damn sun. A news article in Hummelstown can berate this dude so badly, but
Mm.
then the old Humsky drops a nice reel with a bunch of F bombs and a bunch of other stuff, and yeah, it was funny. That was a good one.
I've seen that. I've seen that go
It
both
was
ways. You know,
yeah, it was not up long, so I took it down. I'm a man of my word. I'm not out for blood.
Oh, good in terms of that aspect. Being a small business owner, um, even in my own experiences, is people pop by, they don't necessarily pay, or they have this. It's tough sometimes to be empathetic. You want to be empathetic, right?
For
Somebody's
sure.
situation, you want to be empathetic, but when they ghost you or it's a total blow off, you're giving you nothing to be empathetic about. So I can definitely see that path, that course of action, doing what I had to do. I got you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know what? I lose some followers occasionally because of some of the stuff I do or say or whatever, but like genuinely the people who know me and the people who like have followed me long enough, they know how I stand. You know what I mean? Like I stand for the community. I back the community. I do a lot of things for people in the community.
Hmm.
And I'm also not perfect. You know what I mean? And I own that too. I've literally made posts where I completely apologized for shit. One time I had somebody came at me online, but they made a fake account. So they were looking like somebody they weren't. So then I called out this person and it wasn't really them. And it was like they had
Mm.
gotten a lot of backlash in a few hours from me posting one of my lunatic posts. Man, I feel it. Is this a therapy session we're doing right now?
Wait, remember, I tell you what, therapy for me too, if you don't mind. But yes, because there's not a situation you're talking about that I can't identify in some way,
Oh
shape,
my
or form.
God.
And hopefully, many people that'll be listening or hearing to the version of this, absolutely, that there's a relatedness. Whether you're selling lemonades at a lemonade stand or you're trying to launch an AI company, the basic to basic relationship and occasionally getting stuck and having to pop that out from a human humor is the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
For
that's
sure.
that's the piece. You you said that you're allowed to be authentic, and clearly that shows up in social media. Where else do you authentically show up in your business? What makes you unique show up in your business?
Well, I I think that I'm just always myself. Like even at the job, at like I try and figure out the best way to handle everything. And that's like I mean, I spend a lot of money at the landfill. Like I spent $38,000 at the landfill last year. I don't like paying to throw stuff away, but it's the nature of the business. So like I've developed relationships with like a handful of thrift stores around here that like when I'm at a house and I don't have a crazy timeline, it's like I could do it today or it could be finished tomorrow or whatever. I always try and give them first dibs. Like come in, literally take whatever you want. I do not care. Like I don't want any money for it. I literally would rather you get it and be able to do something with it. Like, Goodwill's great. Jubilee's great. I'd also go to those places. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But there's just something about helping someone local that I like more. Someone who's really out there grinding, trying to sell used stuff. Like, do you know how hard that is? Like, and those people like sometimes they have to buy and sell shit. You know what I mean? So if they can get it for free, then anything they sell it for is essentially profit, other than their time and energy to come and get it. So, um,
So I would imagine that's a pretty important piece. You understand the finances of this as well heavily. The I would imagine your quickest turnaround time and highest margin might come with just the speed of taking it from the house to the landfill. And
for sure.
in this case, you're taking the extra time not out of another revenue stream per se, but out of responsibility, community response.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's not completely altruistic. Like I do also save on dump fees,
Mhm.
but I'm saving 3 cents a pound. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm saving wonders here. And the amount of time and energy I'm putting into it, you're right. It definitely. But I go back to like what I'm doing is more than just junk removal. Like the people that I'm there for, the estate, like when people's parents die, most people aren't at a point in their life where they need every single thing in their parents' house. They don't need the end tables and they don't need this or that. But to me, like I don't think they want to see somebody go in there with a sledgehammer, smash every single thing, and then throw it in a dumpster out front and just know that it went to a landfill. Like, they get there's a fee involved with getting rid of this stuff. They understand all that. And like, as long as you let them know what you're going to do with it, like, I've never come across anybody who was like sad that I was taking the time to have people come and get it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll even go different routes. Like, I've had some people where somebody called me and their husband has like Parkinson's or MS. Like, he was unable to do the hunting, fishing, and automotive stuff that he used to do. And they came and had me come and look at their basement. And essentially, the basement was filled with fishing shit, filled with hunting stuff, filled with tools. It was all nicely kept. It's a nice basement. They don't have pets. Like, there's literally nothing you can complain about this stuff. And the lady had me give her an estimate. And I said, look, my estimate's my estimate. All right. But while I'm here the next 2 days, I can call a couple people that I know locally that buy stuff, and whatever they buy, you can just have. And she's like, really? Now, like, I could have taken that shit and sold it. I easily could have done that. But getting that lady the 1,200 bucks that she got from selling some items to two guys, I had two guys come by, and that's how much money she made out of it. Like, worth it. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. And like, I know that lady's going to talk about that, you know? And I'm also, again, I go back to not being perfect because I'm not. You know, I've screwed up a few times, but I've always lived by the mantra that like the goal is to fix your wrong that good that like even if that person is bitching to their like sibling, the sibling goes, well, then what happened? And they say what I did, and then that sibling goes, well, you better shut up. Like, they're real, they did you a solid. You know what I mean? Like, that's always the goal.
You know, few people have a business riding on somebody else's business that when a realtor refers a vendor to one of their clients. And to hear you say that and to know that those kinds of experiences are going to give somebody beyond their expectations, that's awesome. I can see why so many of us will refer you, have referred you, will refer you, continue to refer you because it's an extension of our own brand. And
For sure.
that's a home run. All right, I got two more questions for you. Okay. The first one, if somebody was starting their own junk removal business today and they asked for some advice, what advice would you give to the new person starting a junk removal business?
Well, it happens every day. Actually, well, maybe not every day, but I get so many messages. I'm in a lot of different like junk removal business owner groups and stuff, and I always give out free advice. Like, I just think that that's the way to do it. I think any small business, all right, if you're gonna do social media marketing, all right, my first piece of advice is Facebook allows you to have 5,000 friends. Question one: do you have 5,000 friends? And then my follow up question to that is, why not? If it was no. Okay. So I was like a year into my business and I had like 700 or so followers, and my business had a similar number of followers. And I was like trying to beat my head against the wall, posting and posting and posting and trying to figure out what I needed to do differently. And then I came across this other lady, this gruff lady. Like, she is not friendly, okay? But she had 5,000 friends. And I'm sitting there and I had this epiphany, right? And I'm like, if she has 5,000 friends, you know who else has 5,000 friends? This guy. So I started going in the people you may know, all right? And I tried to make sure they were local. I did have a slight steer off where I started getting some Virginia people. I don't know what I did there, but I fixed that. All right. I fixed it. All right. It took some time. But so I friend them. I'd say every 100 to 200 people, you occasionally get someone who sends you the Karen response, do I know you? And then I'd immediately just go into, well, no, I just utilize Facebook to share my business, grade A Holloway. That's it. I
Mhm.
thought you might be interested to learn more. That's all. And those people either accepted or they went away. I've imagined most of those Karens probably went away anyway. I don't really know I don't have a statistic on that. But I will say that within a week or two of having those people accept my friend request, then you go to the business page and you click invite friends to your page. And within like 6 to 12 months of that time where I had 700, I was up to 5,000. I hit the max.
Wow.
And my business was at like 2,900.
Mm.
And since then I have like over 12,000 followers. My business has like 6,000 or something like that. And I barely use my business page, truthfully. I should probably get better at that, but I just utilize my personal page, personal brand, and post stupid videos of me at jobs and
I love
just
it.
have fun with it.
Part of that picture we took for your partner spotlight. FYI, I plan on using this as part of your podcast promo too. That to me is one of the most iconic ones we've had because your smile is or your face is so genuine and you
Yeah.
look so comfortable in
I'm
that.
so sad. I'll be honest. I love the picture. It turned out great. But I'm so sad she wouldn't go into an actual hoarder house with me because the conversation went, hey, so I'm thinking for the picture, we should do a hoarder house. And she's like, in. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Like, as long as it doesn't smell. And I'm like,
Uh,
so, so then no. So then no, we're not going to do that. So then I'm like, well, shit, what are we gonna do? And I'm in, ironically, the back half of this nice garage.
hmm
The back half was like a disaster. So I just had a bunch of stuff laying around, and I'm like, this is the hoarder spot. And I just started throwing shit around. And then I'm like, where am I gonna sit? And we found that chair, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit right here, like the trash throne.
You staged it. It looked wonderful, brother. That's an iconic shot. All right, and here's a question for you. We're gonna end on maybe I'll throw one more, but here's one that I have for you too. Imagine you had to shut down the shop today. The state says no more junk removal companies ever. What business would be the next one that you think you would dive into?
Oh man, that's a wild question, dude. I am unprepared for that to the fullest because so much the junk guy. Like I hope to do this until I really can't do much. I do want to start like growing to the point where I sub out most of the work eventually. I am 40, although I don't look it. I get it. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I would probably get into some kind of sales again. I don't know, like it's some kind of outbound contractor work because I don't do well with bosses. All right. I don't. I have to be my own boss, and it's because I'm a lunatic. It's a common theme. It's going. I like it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Continuity.
I know, perfect. What question did I not ask you that you wished I asked you?
I think we actually covered quite a bit. Like realistically, I think I appreciate your time today, and you
Thank
thinking
you.
up the questions to even ask. So
No problem. We're going to cut this up for you, get it out there in a number of different ways. Appreciate your partnership. I understand from Casey you plan on not renewing. I'm fine with that. I appreciate my time with you. I enjoy
yeah,
meeting.
me too, man.
So
Me
we'll get
too.
and
And honestly, like there's literally zero hard feelings about it. Like I think the thing that you guys offer is absolutely amazing. It's an amazing opportunity, and I think that my the shortcomings that I've had with it are all my shortcomings. Like I didn't come to all the events. I am not as good as I am on social media and as good as I am over
this.
the phone and this way and in my job in the front of it. Dude, I am socially awkward as fuck. Like I am literally so awkward. I'm uncomfortable. Like I don't I always feel salesy in those situations. And yeah, so like I said, I think you got the right guy who likes to go have a few drinks and like wants to go to all those events. They're just gonna fucking whop it up, dude. You know? So
No, no, no problem. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed meeting you. We're gonna find other ways to work together. I do more than just the RP stuff, but in this case,
yeah,
carved
here,
it.
let me give you a tour, dude. You should really come down to my garage sometime.
I
Seriously,
intend on it. I love to play pool. I love it, so I absolutely
I'm
intend.
in here every Thursday.
Okay.
I'm in
Wow,
here from 5 to 10.
that's awesome.
You'll get some free merch while you're here. There's my merch shelf.
I love it.
We got endless movies. We got darts.
Wow.
We got TV. Well, we got multiple TVs, but my, we got all this furniture and everything from Jobs, even the tiki bar.
Wow. Wow. Dude, that whole thing is a podcast studio right there. That whole
It,
place.
it, I found this behind a piano.
Nice.
It's a sheet of real curve. Oh, look.
There it is. Wow. Brother, that is awesome.
Yeah, like I said, you'll have to come by. You're welcome anytime.
I
Like I
will
said,
be.
I'm in here Thursdays. So,
I will be. That's fantastic, brother. I'll be reaching out to you. All right, man.
well,
Thanks
cool.
again. We'll get this carved up. I'll let you. I won't send anything out until you actually look at it and approve it, but we'll get it out. All right.
Yeah, appreciate you, dude. Thanks,
Thank
Rich.
you. Same here.
See
Bye.
ya.